Most people believe that decisions are made consciously. We imagine ourselves carefully considering options, weighing the pros and cons, and then choosing the best course of action. But psychology tells a slightly different story. Many of the decisions we make every day happen before we are fully aware of them. The brain constantly evaluates situations in the background. It searches for patterns. It compares present circumstances to past experiences. And sometimes it produces a sudden feeling of hesitation, a sense of caution, or an unexplained urge to change direction. These feelings often seem mysterious because they appear without explanation. Yet they are part of a complex system designed to help us navigate uncertainty. The incident you are about to hear began with a simple decision. At the time, it seemed trivial, but later, it led one person to question how much control we truly have over the choices we make. One evening, a woman named Lara was driving home from work. The route was familiar. She had taken the same road almost every day for several years. The drive usually lasted about 15 minutes. Halfway through the route, there was a small intersection where she normally turned left. From there, the road continued directly toward her neighborhood. On this particular evening, traffic was light and the weather was clear. Everything felt routine. But as Lara approached the intersection, something unusual happened. For a moment, she hesitated. There was no obvious reason. The road ahead was open. The traffic light was green. Yet something about the moment made her pause. Instead of turning left as usual, she continued straight. The decision surprised even her. It wasn't something she had planned. It simply felt like the right thing to do at that moment. The alternate route added several minutes to her drive. It passed through a quiet residential area before reconnecting with the main road. As she drove along the unfamiliar street, Lara found herself wondering why she had changed her route. The decision still felt strange. She had no clear explanation for it. When she eventually returned to the main road, she noticed flashing lights in the distance. Several vehicles were stopped near the intersection where she normally turned. Police cars and an ambulance had blocked part of the road. Traffic was being redirected. Later that evening, Lara learned that a minor accident had occurred at the intersection. Shortly after she passed it, no one had been seriously injured, but the timing was unsettling. If she had taken her usual turn, she would likely have arrived at the intersection just moments after the accident happened. The coincidence made her uneasy. Had her mind somehow predicted the danger? Or was the decision simply random? Why the experience felt strange? Experiences like this often lead people to believe that intuition has a mysterious or even supernatural origin. But psychologists generally explain such moments in a different way. The human brain constantly collects subtle information from the environment. Much of this information never reaches conscious awareness. Small details, the speed of other vehicles, the rhythm of traffic, the spacing between cars are processed automatically. Sometimes these signals combine to create a vague sense that something is not quite right. This feeling does not always produce a clear explanation. Instead, it appears as hesitation or instinct. The psychological explanation. This process is closely related to what psychologists call predictive processing. The brain is not simply reacting to events as they happen. Instead, it continuously predicts what might happen next. Every moment, the brain generates expectations about the future. If the environment behaves as expected, we feel comfortable and confident. But when subtle cues suggest that something unusual might occur, the brain signals caution. Importantly, these predictions are often based on incomplete information. The mind does not need certainty to act. It only needs a small probability that something could go wrong. In Laura's case, her hesitation may have been triggered by subtle patterns in traffic movement. Patterns too small to consciously notice. The brain interpreted these signals as uncertainty and adjusted her decision. From her perspective, the change felt mysterious. From the brain's perspective, it was simply risk management. Reflection. Later that night, Laura thought again about the moment at the intersection. She realized that the experience had changed how she thought about intuition. The decision had not been magical or supernatural. It was likely the result of countless small observations made by the brain in the background, signals she never consciously noticed. Moments like this reveal something fascinating about the human mind. We often believe that we are fully aware of the reasons behind our choices. But much of the thinking that guides our decisions happens quietly, beneath conscious awareness. Perhaps the most interesting part of the story is not the coincidence at the intersection. It is the reminder that the mind is constantly working behind the scenes, interpreting patterns, predicting outcomes, and shaping our decisions long before we realize it.